E aí, pessoal? Tudo certo? Deixa eu só arrumar umas coisas aqui pra gente dar uma olhada nisso. E aí, como é que vocês estão? Olha, tendo eco a minha voz. Certo, e aqui tá certo, beleza. O que eu quero fazer agora de tarde, eu não sei se vai ter como fazer uma live muito longa agora. Mas eu quero pelo menos dar uma olhada nesse anúncio do POE. O que eu não vou fazer mesmo é assistir depois o Q&A, geralmente com o ZigD, essas coisas. Mas eu quero ver o anúncio disso daqui. Tô bem empolgado pra essa liga. Não necessariamente pra liga, mas pro Druida. O Druida tá me deixando empolgadão desde que foi anunciado pra Drevsaurus 2. Então... E aí, Marcos, tudo bem? Uma boa tarde. Bom, nada de novo aqui. E aí, Dália, passando para dar um salve antes de começar. Que boring. Muito obrigado. Com anúncio, vai ter um anúncio hoje da Liga Nova do Path of Exile 2, que vai vir na semana que vem, mas o principal para mim é o Druida. Se quiser ser um Gold, faz um vídeo disso, pelo amor de Deus. Vou fazer. Pode deixar. Vai lá. Mas o principal pra mim não é nem a liga, é o fato de ser o Druida que vai vir finalmente. A arma dele eu imagino que teve algumas coisas, o pessoal falando sobre talismã e tal, não sei se vai ser exatamente isso daí. Mas minha expectativa é que o Druida tenha algum efeito de Thorns, de reflexão de dano. Isso pra mim é uma das coisas mais legais que tem. Ia ser bacana. E que seja alguma coisa mais viável pra self-found, porque se não for, eu vou ser obrigado a jogar na liga de troca dessa vez também. Não é muito problema. Hardcore PoE 2, putz, eu já fiz isso no PoE 1, não é tão agradável. Por que pareça, dependendo da build que você tiver, é mais viável fazer isso no PoE 1 do que no 2. Perdão, mais viável fazer isso no PoE do que no WoW. Eu já fiz o suficiente. Eu sei que vai ter drop hoje. Eu imagino que o canal ele tá normal funcionando com os drops, mas de qualquer maneira, se vocês querem pegar isso daqui, assistam na Twitch. Eu acho que vai ter drop também na... E aí eu acho que vai ser drop e sub na semana que vem. Assim, se tem uma coisa de ok no que aconteceu hoje, é que eu tô livre na semana que vem pra poder jogar algumas outras coisas, mas... Até lá temos mais coisas pra poder fazer. Fiz de Gas Arrow não foi massa, ruim o dano dos caos dá um hit. Gas Arrow, faz tempo que eu não uso nada. Arco no 2 eu não cheguei a usar muito. Eu usei pra subir de nível 1 personagem, mas eu não gosto. Eu não gosto muito de ter que trocar o estilo de arma que eu uso pra subir de nível com o personagem. Eu prefiro usar a arma do começo até o final, eu acho mais legal. Normalmente quando falam pra poder trocar arma no meio de leveling e tal, eu não curto. Mesmo porque quando você usa uma arma do começo até o final, eu sinto que dá pra você perceber melhor os defeitos do que tá acontecendo, do que você tá querendo fazer. Mas isso daí obviamente é mais eficaz se você fizer a troca de arma, a troca de skill, porque for mais eficaz naquele level. Ainda assim. Vamos lá. Druidão, finalmente, desde o anúncio do Path of Exile, tenho certeza que não só eu, mas como boa parte das pessoas está empolgada para essa classe. Que seja bom, que seja mais próximo do Druida de Diablo 2.
I'm Jonathan Rogers, Game Director on Path of Exile 2, and welcome to GGG Live. Today we're going to show you an exclusive reveal for what's coming next for Path of Exile 2.
Sim, senhor.
Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so you'll be able to claim your Verdant Wilds dodge roll effect by following the instructions below.
Legal.
Now today, it's finally time to show off a new class that we know everyone in the community's been waiting for.
Pra caramba.
So let's roll the trailer for Path of Exile 2, The Last of the Druids.
Vamos lá.
Well, well. What have we got here then?
You lost, fella?
Hey, we're talking to you.
I asked you a
Não é
question.
eu quando acordo de manhã. É ritual isso?
What's wrong with him?
Ah, he's lost his bloody mind.
Muito legal essa... Ah, o vulcão do Diablo 2 aí, bacana. Pet, puta merda, finalmente vai ter uns bichos de minion. O que é isso? É um wyvern? Nossa, como eu fiquei animado com o lance de ter os minions finalmente não ser só morto-vivo. Puta merda, muito bom. Nossa, bom, vamos lá. É um ótimo começo. Ótimo começo.
I will find you, Eve.
Now, as you can see, the Druid is a shape-shifting elemental spellcaster. After his fellow Druids were destroyed by the King in the Mists, the Druid lost his humanity in the forests of Ogham, where he wandered for years as a beast. Now, finally reawakened, he's determined to find his lost wife and regain his humanity. The Druid has been one of the hardest classes for us to design. As well as having human spells, he has 3 animal forms, and we wanted to make sure that there were interesting combos between all of them.
Por favor.
The Druid is our first hybrid strength and intelligence class.
Ótimo.
That means he needs to have the ability to use spells and attacks. As a human, the Druid typically uses magical staves to harness the powers of the earth and the natural world.
Bacana, bem próximo do Diablo 2 mesmo.
One of the first skills you will learn is the ability to create small volcanoes from the earth.
Que era uma das builds do
This
Diablo
skill
2 que o
spits
pessoal
out
usava.
balls of magma at your enemies, and will continue to do so for some time. While the volcano is active, turn into an animal and wade into melee range. Many of the skills you use as a human last for a significant period of time, giving you a good chance to turn into an animal and rage out.
Isso é bom. O fato de você poder deixar uma skill
But how do you
acontecendo enquanto
turn
você
into an
faz
animal,
outra
you may
coisa.
ask? Well, the answer is a new weapon type that druids use,
Talismans,
animal
beleza.
talismans. When you equip an animal talisman, you can choose which animal form you would like the talisman to represent. Depending on what you choose, you'll be given that animal's basic attack as a new
muito
skill to
legal,
equip.
man.
For a bear, that's maul. To turn into a bear, simply use the skill. Your character will instantly transform into a bear and attack. If you want to change back to a human, just cast a spell. You will instantly swap back and cast it.
Precisa
We
estar
wanted to
atrelado
make
ao
sure
swap
that
de
swapping
arma.
between forms was seamless and immediate. Changing forms should be something that you do without even thinking about it all the time in battle. In order to allow for hybrid melee and caster gameplay, most
Esse
of
é
the
o
skills you use in
Path
your
of
human
Exile
form
2.
last for some time and aid your animal skills in some way. The volcano we used earlier will emit more molten balls whenever you hit it with a slam, making it perfect for use with your bear form's furious
Sempre
slam.
problema esses combos aqui, porque nem sempre vale a pena fazer.
While in bear form, many of your abilities use rage. There are a lot of ways to generate rage, but the easiest one is simply smash your enemies with maul. Once you see the runes on your back glowing, it means you have enough rage to do a much more devastating version of your furious slam.
Tá.
Your bear form can also go on a rampage, stomping the ground as you demolish your
Isso é
foes.
muito legal. Eu acho que se colocar os vulcões também, eles ficam soltando mais
The
coisas,
more
não é?
rage
Eu
you
lembro
have,
de ter
the
visto.
longer the rampage lasts.
Mas já faz
And
tempo, talvez
doing
tenha
it over a
mudado.
volcano makes it even better.
É isso daí mesmo. E toda vez que dá uma porrada, fica soltando mais. É legal. Ok. Tem que ver se vale a pena.
As you consume rage, your bear form will generate endurance charges, and these can be used with skills like Ferocious Roar. Ferocious Roar is a war cry that empowers your subsequent attacks to break your opponent's armor. The
Eu tô um
more
pouco
endurance
preocupado
charges you have when you use it, the more empowered attacks you
por
will
esses
get.
efeitos no chão
But
deles serem
Ferocious Roar has
muito
another special feature
intrusivos.
too.
Com outras
It's a
coisas que estão no
meta
chão
gem
já.
that allows you to socket any Warcry gem from another class into it, giving you the ability to use these skills as a bear. Use the Warrior's Infernal Cry skill to make your enemies explode.
Isso é bacana. Isso é muito legal. Inclusive, Infernal Cry são dos melhores pra poder usar isso. Porque aí é um combinho de dois
Or use
botões aí.
Seismic Cry to stun your enemies and double up the number of slams you do.
Também. Realmente, a combinação é boa. Dos Seismic Cry,
You
essas
can even
coisas.
use it with Ancestral Call, a skill that turns you into the fire god Cow. Ever wondered what the Karui god of war would look like if he was a bear?
Tá bom, isso é
Well,
bem
wait
legal.
no longer.
Isso é bem legal.
Finally, build up enough rage and you can use one of the bear's ultimate abilities, Walking Calamity. This skill summons a storm of fire around you for some time, while generating even more rage to power your other abilities.
Oh,
The
dependendo
true bear apocalypse.
da
Now,
duração
the
disso
bear is known
daí.
for being a slower and more lumbering animal, with slower attacks and heavy slams. But what if you want to turn into something a little more nimble? Well, let's check out the second animal form for the druid, wolf form.
Eu quero ver os summons. Eu quero ver os
For the
summons,
wolf
porra.
form, we wanted to go fast and furious. Even just the wolf's basic attack will leap forward and rake his foes. After attacking, the wolf stands up on two legs, but after running for a short time, he goes back on all fours, allowing to move more quickly between packs of enemies. The wolf has a lot of cold attacks based on his association with the moon, and the first of these is Lunar Assault. It's great for freezing your enemies in place. After they're frozen, use your basic rake attack to knock shards of ice off your enemies, which land on the ground nearby and explode. If you want to get into battle quickly, you can use your pounce attack.
Geralmente não é viável
This
ficar
skill leaps
tanto
at a
tempo
target
assim em
and applies
combate.
a mark to them.
Em cada grupo de mob, na verdade.
Killing the
Mas vamos
marked
ver.
enemy will summon a wolfman into your side, allowing them to fight with you. Mark and kill as many enemies as you can to build up a sizable pack. While an enemy is marked, your wolves will prioritize that target and do more damage the more wolves you have.
Eu pensei que ia
So
ser
make sure you keep your
summon
pack
separada. Não achei que ia ser por uma marca que você vai
Now,
invocar
one problem you
temporariamente.
might run into is your wolf pack dying in boss fights. You often don't have any enemies that you can mark and kill in order to regenerate your pack. To deal with this problem, you can use Cross Slash. Cross Slash jumps backwards and does a vicious double slash. Any marks on your target explode and triggers their abilities. This allows you to pounce to mark an enemy and then summon a wolf.
Tipo,
even
tudo
without
bem,
killing
ainda assim é o que eu quero
Cross
mexer,
Slash
mas...
also has another feature though. Remember those ice fragments from before? Well, Cross Slash will propel any ice shards on the ground towards its central target. First, freeze your enemies with Lunar Assault. Then rake them to create as many ice fragments as you can. Then follow up with cross slash to generate a field of icy explosions to
É
obliterate
esse
enemies.
negócio, tipo, são 3, 4 habilidades que às vezes não vale a pena você fazer isso.
If they're still alive after that, your pack of wolves can finish them off. Just like with the bear's raw skill earlier that allows you to use skills from other classes, Pounce is also a meta gem that you can socket mark skills from other classes into. So for example,
Parece que
you
o
might want to try
lobo é
adding
mais
freezing
single
mark from the mark
target,
to Pounce.
parte do que ele tá fazendo.
After pouncing at an enemy, cross slash to explode the mark and gain extra cold damage for a time.
Mas ainda assim, tipo, é bacana, bem legal.
The wolf has many other ways to go all in on cold though.
Dependendo
Using
também
the
do,
Arctic Howl war cry will allow you to
da
add cold
duração
damage and
dessas
chill
minions aí,
ground
porque
to
tem
any
como pegar
slam,
algumas coisas
while
na parte
buffing
de
your pack of
intelecto,
wolves as
tudo.
well. You can also use it to freeze enemies that are close to being frozen.
Acho que
making it
dá
much
pra fazer,
faster
vai
to
ser
use your
legal.
other combos. Finally, the wolf also has the ability to call down the power of the moon to transform into an Arctic werewolf with lunar blessing. In this form, you move and attack more quickly and deal extra cold damage. Consuming rage will extend the duration of your Arctic wolf form, so you could try a hybrid bear and wolf build if you want to utilize the skill to its full
Muito
effect.
trabalho, muito trabalho. Claramente tem uma... Os combos são muito longos pra poder ficar fazendo uma coisa híbrida. A impressão que dá, pelo menos.
Alright, let's talk about the third form available to the druid, and I think it's a cool one. The wyvern. The wyvern has a number of long-range breath abilities, but that doesn't mean you can't get into melee range when you want to. The basic attack of the wyvern is rend. Jump forward into combat and slash your enemies with your lethal talons. If they're close to being stunned, you can blow them off balance with a blast from your wings, causing an explosion of damage. After the battle though, it's time to feed. Devour the corpses of monsters to create power charges, and this is when the wyvern's abilities really come online. When using rend, you can consume a power charge to charge up your wings with lightning.
Eu posso usar Flicker
Only does this
Strike
do a
com
bunch of
isso.
damage, but it allows you to turn this melee skill into a much larger AoE attack.
Porque se eu puder ter umas ideias.
Once your wings are charged, your wing blast will also do lightning explosions for even more damage.
Transforma o Power in
If your
Frames
enemies
em
are close
Flicker
to death,
Strike.
no need to wait for them to actually die. When you see this blue marker, just devour them alive. Fresh meat is much tastier after all.
Bacana.
Alright, so those are some melee options, but how about range? Well, you wouldn't be much of a dragon if you couldn't breathe fire after all. Rolling magma is the first of the wyvern's breath attacks.
Oh, chegou o Rolling
Spit
Magma.
balls
Não
of
era...
fire that bounce along the ground. These balls will trigger volcanoes as well, so it's a good idea to cast one as a human right before you start spitting.
Tá bom, em boss isso daí acho que vai ser bem forte.
But that's not all you can spit. You have something a little nastier in that gullet of yours. Spitting a barrage of oil at your enemies will cover them in a viscous sludge that makes them easier to ignite.
Parece ser uma granada mais
If you
rápida,
have
isso?
power charges,
Provavelmente dano
though,
menor também.
plant your wings in the ground and vomit a barrage of lightning-infused projectiles. The more power charges you have, the longer you can do this for. But make sure you keep your foes at range. You're vulnerable to melee attacks while channeling this skill.
Isso é sempre
In
problema
order to help
quando você
with
fica
that,
parado.
let's take a quick diversion back to some of your human abilities. As a druid of Scoth, you have the ability to harness the power of nature to create entangling vines to slow down your enemies. Another of nature's punishments is the thunderstorm. Creating one of these will create periodic strikes of lightning from the sky, and will also make your enemies wet. Why is that useful? Well, of course, things that are wet are easier to shock. Use it with lightning damage from your wyvern form to enhance your damage.
Tá, já
Making
foi
things
gerada
wet
uma
also
outra
makes them easier
combinação
to
com
freeze,
outras
so it
classes
works
isso daí.
nicely with your wolf form as well.
Parece que tem outro status
And you know
que
what
é
else likes
molhado.
water? Plants. Water your plants to give them various extra abilities. Use Lightning Storm with Entangle to make them last longer, and attach more vines to each enemy, slowing them further. Summon Thrashing Vines to slam at your enemies for a time. Any that are created in water will be larger and deal more damage.
No fim das contas é Petrovex, vai depender de quanto dano
Now,
causa isso.
with our enemies sufficiently subdued with our plants, time to really lay into them with our lightning-infused barrage. Now, this last wyvern ability is just ridiculous, but we felt like we had to do it. Use Flame Breath to take to the skies and rain down a stream of fire
Meu
on your
Deus, viramos
enemies.
Evoker.
You have wings, so we have to take full advantage of them after all. So fly around and burn in it.
Puta merda.
Now, there are a few other skills we didn't cover, but there's
Tá.
one in particular that I
Número
think
1.
will open up a lot of builds.
Quanto
Spell
tem?
Totems. Spell totems are meta gems that let you create a totem that will automatically cast any spell in the game for a
Bom,
time.
pessoal, eu espero que vocês estejam
In order
acostumados
to
com
create
usar...
one, you will need to spend 3 endurance or 3 power charges. You could
Sério.
use them to throw fireballs, summon comets, or shower the area in
Ó,
lightning.
totem, pelo menos no Petavex I1, era o jeito
Your
de usar a
bear form
habilidade,
can easily
geralmente.
generate endurance
skill.
charges by consuming rage, and your wyvern
Imagina.
form can easily create power charges by eating corpses. So it's pretty easy for the druid to get the charges needed, but they're also available from quite a few other places as well. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of different spellcaster classes thinking about how best to take advantage of these. Now, of course, along with a new class comes a bunch of new support gems. We've added over 30 new supports throughout the game,
Bastante.
but I'll show you a few of the cooler ones here. Fan the Flames can be added to any wind skill to spread fire from one ignited enemy to
Pô,
other
isso é
enemies
muito
behind
legal.
them. It's great for the Wyvern's Wing Blast.
Não
You can
funciona
also
com a
use it on
Huntress,
many
não?
other classes with wind skills, like the Twisters on the Huntress, or the Monk's Staggering Palm Projectiles.
Isso é legal.
Accelerated growth causes extra explosive plants to erupt from the ground whenever you grow plants with rain.
Isso é menos legal.
And Advancing Storm changes storm skills like your Thunderstorm or Tornado to move across the battlefield. It's great for watering plants en masse,
Tá, isso é mais
or to
legal.
turn tornadoes into a real disaster by sucking up multiple ground effects as they travel along. And the Sorceress might like to use it with Firestorm as well. Echoing Cry causes your Warcry skills to echo. They will repeat a couple more times with a delay after you use them, giving you more empowered attacks. Use it for the druid's animal form Warcries, or on the warrior for a nice power boost. Grounding Shocks causes monsters you shock to turn into living Tesla coils, arcing lightning to nearby enemies. You could use it with your empowered wings for an extra damage boost, but it's also great with any other shocking skill.
Eu tô interessado pra saber a duração do voo
It
do
obviously needed more AoE
Wyvern.
clear. There's a whole pile more, but we'll leave those for you to discover. Now with a new class comes new Ascendancy classes. The Druid will have 2 options for now, with a third
Pra
being released
elemental
later.
e o outro
The
pra
first class is
shapeshift.
the Shaman. The Shaman channels
Eu
nature's
sempre
elemental
falo
fury
que
and can harness rage as a spellcaster.
o druida do
unifying
Diablo
his
era uma
animalistic
mistura
and
de druida
magical
com xamã.
tendencies. By allocating Druidic Champion, you gain spell damage the angrier you are. And with Furious Wellspring, you generate rage continuously and can spend it to empower your spells. With the knowledge of the Asmerian Magi, the Shaman can harness untapped power from runes and idols. After allocating Wisdom of the Magi, you will notice that all runes and idols have extra mods only available to the Shaman.
Isso é super
These new
legal.
mods unlock countless new
Principalmente
possibilities
pra
for enhancing your
self-found.
build. You can also allocate Bringer of the Apocalypse, allowing you to become a walking natural disaster. After dealing enough elemental damage, storms of all elements rain around you, destroying all who would face nature's fury. There are other
DJ
abilities.
Clan,
for the Shaman,
semana que vem, acho que
but I'll
na
just show a few from each
sexta-feira,
class for
acho.
now. The other Druid Ascendancy is the Oracle.
Sério?
The
Nenhuma
Oracle perfected
ascendência
the power of
focada no
foresight and
shapeshift?
utilizes this in combat to gain massive advantage. When taking Fateful Vision, you will see visions of your future self using specific skills. If you decide to follow this path by using the skill yourself, it will do significantly more damage.
É, não vai rolar isso daí.
And with Converging Paths, at a critical moment in battle when a monster is vulnerable to freeze, stun, or electrocution, the Oracle can use Moment of Vulnerability to see a vision of the enemy's future, and then merge it with the current timeline, allowing him to deal damage to both.
É forte,
And
mas
one of
pra mim
my
é menos
favorites, when you
interessante.
first become an Oracle, you'll notice over 130 new extra passives appear in the Druid section of the tree. By allocating the Unseen Path, you use your power of foresight to learn from alternate futures and gain skills that would otherwise be unavailable to you.
É, isso é bacana. Isso é
For
interessante pra
example, self-sacrificing allows you to be able to summon more minions by reducing their spirit costs, with the trade-off of making your reservation skills cost more spirit. Or Corruption Endures, which allows oracles to have a small chance to avoid death. Both the Druid Ascendancies offer interesting and unique ways to gain modifiers that no other classes can get, so we're expecting a huge variety of build possibilities from these. Now there are unique talismans for the Druid to use as well.
Por
We
favor.
won't spoil all of them.
Putz,
but
eu
this
tô
one was
gostando pra caramba.
particularly
Eu tô
cool.
achando muito legal. Tem várias
Fury of
ideias
the
na minha
King
cabeça.
turns your bear form into a fire demon,
Se liga.
converting most of your damage to fire.
Ah, é o bicho
As a
um dos
demon,
boss.
you can also use Molten Crash,
É
jumping
dos boss.
slam attack that leaves fissures around
Do
you.
quarto ato, acho.
This unique also continuously grants glory, allowing you to use your ultimate abilities more easily. Now, of course, the Druid isn't the only thing we're adding to 040. We still have a bunch more to show. With every new release, we create a new league with new mechanics, new pinnacle
Mas
bosses,
bem legal, já
and
tô
with a new
empolgado o
story to tell.
suficiente.
And this time is no exception. So let's roll the trailer for the fate of the Val.
Ah, vai ter a Ziri, né?
The palace of Queen Atziri. It is a ruin, but in the dark, machines still churn. The temple has many functions, and with it, a chance to save the Val. A gateway through time.
Como é que chama? Caramba. Com a alva. Eu esqueci a mecânica da alva. O nome.
And again. Alter the temple. Uncover its secrets. You will be rewarded for
Incursion, acho que chama.
your sacrifice.
Não lembrava.
And somewhere in the deepest chamber, my queen awaits.
Vai ser a Ziri mesmo, que bacana.
I beg of you, hear me. The beast cannot give you what you desire.
You may have studied it, Doriani,
Ah, ela era
but you do not
mais
know
humanoide.
it like I do.
Ela tá só com 2 peitos, não tá com 4, então.
Adores me. Come now, give unto me your desire. At last, fulfill my soul.
Legal, dá pra saber como a Ziri ficou daquele jeito. Eu não sei se vai ser um ato a mais isso daí. Eu acho que sim, parece ser.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts,
Hey,
Game
Mark
Director on
Roberts.
Path of Exile. In the Fate of the Val League, you will find remnants of the ancient Val civilization scattered throughout Rayclast. They seem to attract nearby creatures and affect them strangely. After killing them, the remnant appears to gain some amount of power, but not enough to fully activate it. It seems you will need to find 5 more of these arcane devices, and sacrifice the monsters you find there to fully activate one. But things don't always go to plan. These devices are old, and sometimes infected by corruption. Twisted versions of ancient Val may emerge, and sometimes even stronger foes. On fully activating one of the devices, you finally discover its true purpose. A portal opens and takes you deep underground to a lost temple, once the home of Atziri, Queen of the Val. What treasures could still be inside? I think you're gonna want to find out. In front of the entrance is a console of some kind, and on activating it, you can see a map of the temple. Atziri's personal chambers are on the far side, but how could anyone get there? There are disconnected rooms, and the layout doesn't seem to make sense. And that's when you realize the purpose of the ancient devices scattered through Rayclast. The temple is powered by sacrifice, and this energy can be used to modify the very structure of the temple itself. Each time you run the temple, you will be given 6 rooms that you can place, allowing you to craft your own dungeon to explore.
Eu imagino que vai ter como vender a dungeon também, igual no
And
primeiro.
place rooms beside them full of precious loot. After you are happy with your choices, open the temple.
Só que é uma versão
and
bem
discover the
maior do
results
que
of
do
your
Path of
efforts.
Exile 1. Era bem mais limitado, aparentemente.
Each room contains different challenges along with its rewards. On entering a room, the doors will slam shut behind you, and you will need to face the encounter within. But choose wisely. It's important where you place the rooms to get maximum returns. For example, when placing a commander, you could just place it anywhere along an existing path, but a much better strategy is to place it next to a garrison of troops for him to command.
Ah,
With
sobe o
better
nível das
leadership,
coisas, entendi.
the garrison will level up, making the monsters harder, but also more rewarding. Different rooms have different requirements for leveling up. For example, if you want to fully level up a smithy, you will need to supply it with golems from an adjacent golem works. and hook up a generator to the power network to supply it with power. After doing so,
Level 3
the
então é o
golems will
máximo
be
disso
powered
daí.
up, making them much more dangerous. You don't need to memorize what interacts with what. When selecting a room, you will be shown the locations that will make other rooms level up,
Ótimo.
and exactly what effect it will have
Isso
on
é
the
muito
temple.
bom. Muito bom.
After running the temple, a few of the rooms will destabilize and be removed. It will be up to you to rebuild the temple, adding 6 more rooms each time you come back, making the temple larger and larger and larger. So, that's the basic functionality of the temple, but there is a lot more. Once
Algumas
Doriani
dúvidas
finds
ainda
out about
seguem.
your travels to Laraval, he will attempt to persuade you to take on a new mission. The temple entrance contains a prototype of the time portal device. It will be able to take you back in time, but only to one specific point, right before Itzeri triggered the cataclysm that destroyed the Val. He requests that you go back and attempt to stop
Eu acho
Itzeri
que não
to
vai ser
prevent the Val from ever being
outro
destroyed.
ato, não. Vai ser só uma mecânica da liga que vai ser implementada como outro ato depois.
Itzeri is on the far side of the temple, so you will need to expand the temple significantly to get to her. And even worse, her chambers can only be unlocked by a room that isn't currently accessible to you. In order to deal with that, you are going to need to visit the architect of the temple. To get to him, you will need to place path rooms, but while doing so, you will probably want to exploit some of the Val technology only available in the past. Once you can travel into the past, a whole new set of rooms are available to you, and they have some pretty insane rewards. At level 1, the corruption chamber can be used to corrupt a single item.
Tudo bem.
But placing it next to a thaumaturge to
é
run
isso
the
é bem
place,
parecido com o do primeiro,
and a
tudo bem.
sacrificial chamber to provide soul energy, you'll be able to level it up. And it's worth it.
É,
Because
corrompe
once you get
duas
the room
vezes,
to
coisa
level
assim,
3,
não era? Pelo menos
there
era
are some
antes.
very nice rewards to be had. In a level 3 corruption chamber, you will find this mysterious device. It has a slot to place an item, and it only accepts items that are already corrupted. What will happen to them? Well, normally once an item is corrupted, you can't modify it any further. But this device allows you to corrupt your item a second time,
É.
adding another enchantment.
E
This
é
has the
interessante
capability to craft some very powerful items indeed.
Ele tá falando que você precisa
But
corromper
be
primeiro
warned,
e depois
the
fazer isso
Val
novamente.
are all about taking risks in the pursuit of power. There is a 50% chance that the item will be destroyed.
Tá certo.
Each room has its own interesting mechanics and rewards when it levels up. Many of them contain bosses to fight, special drops, and in many cases, new crafting opportunities.
Corrompendo gema.
For example, a level 3 alchemy lab has a nasty Val construct to fight, but if you can defeat it, you can find new corrupted soul cores. Like Guatalizi's thesis, which on boots allows you to sacrifice your life to run faster. Or Sita Qualottl's thesis, which on gloves will revive one of your minions whenever an offering expires.
Isso é
Get a
forte pra
sacrificial
caramba.
chamber to level 3, and you will need to face a highborn priest of sacrifice. Defeat him to be able to further corrupt a Val unique, modifying it in unpredictable ways. One of the mods of this unique will be removed and replaced with another random mod. For example, this Soul Mantle. It gives you an additional totem, but lowers your totem's life and curses you when they die. By using the machine, this could result in a terrible item if you remove the good mod, but also some amazing items if you replace the downside.
É. Os itens vão
Now,
ficar
one extra
lá em
thing to
cima o
mention about
preço.
these Val crafting machines. You don't have to take the items you want to craft into the temple. If you don't have the item you want to craft with you at the time, then clicking this button will allow you to create a currency item instead, allowing you to do the craft later or trade it if you want.
É isso que eu ia falar, provavelmente vai dar pra vender.
Now, there are all sorts of interesting rooms you can find in the temple, but the last one I want to show you today is the Flesh Surgeon. A Vaal Flesh Surgeon can be leveled up by placing him next to a high-level synth flesh lab. But be careful. The Flesh Surgeon has some rather unpleasant experiments in his personal lab. Afterwards, you might notice the surgery table just sitting there. The Vaal are great at crafting items. Why not do some crafting on yourself? After laying down, you'll be asked which limb you'd like to replace. Left arm, perhaps your right leg. Each limb can get a different set of random bonuses, so choose wisely. After getting up from the table, try out your new limb. It seems to work fine, and even perform better than your normal one. Now, there is just one thing with replacing body parts. If you die and are resurrected, your body will return to its natural state. You might need to return to the Vaal Surgeons if you want another robot arm, and maybe get a better one next time.
Tá, isso é bacana. Isso é legal pra caramba. Depende, vai ficar...
Some rooms like the Commander
Eu imagino
can
que
give you a
logout
new type of
não
reward.
deve afetar isso daí, né?
Medallions that can be used to manipulate the temple in other ways. Using a Queeper-Lartal's medallion will allow you to artificially boost a room, even if it doesn't meet the normal requirements to level up. And a Huatalotli's medallion will stop rooms from destabilizing when you complete a temple, allowing you to guarantee getting a reward a second time. Great if you want to stock up on double corrupts.
Isso é legal.
Now, with all that aside, time to face the Architect, and you will be in for a fight. Once defeated, you will find another console that can be used to modify the temple. But this one is special. It allows you to place new types of rooms with specific rewards. There are rooms with specific uniques, special runes, and currency. But also a few other, more niche crafting experiments. Like this one, that can extract the socket balls back out of an item, at the cost of destroying it.
Depending
now, something really important is every league we release a significant amount of content for the in-game. In order to make sure that the Fate of the Vaal works well for late-game players, we've added many mechanics to make sure that you can scale the difficulty and rewards to match. Getting some rooms to level 3 adds extra mods to the entire dungeon, and these stack with each other. So in endgame, when you can get some really big temples, you can generate a challenge that can even match the strongest of characters. We also start to introduce ways to store up energy for the temple, allowing you to save up many runs so you can do them later at your leisure, and not interrupt your mapping too often. Now in each league, it's important that we have a new pinnacle boss to test your character's might.
Eu achei que ia ser Adziri.
In the Fate of the Vaal, you will get to face Adziri while she was at the peak of her power. One of the rewards you will gain by defeating the Architect is the ability to place the Royal Access Chamber. Once connected to your temple, you can visit it to finally reach the Queen of the Vaal herself. This fight takes place at a critical moment in history, right as Adziri communes with the beast's power and takes her true corrupted form. Now, we are not going to show you the whole fight, but we will tempt you with one of the rewards. This is Adziri's rule. This staff gives additional levels to all of your corrupted gems and lets you trade life for extra damage. But in addition to that, while using the staff, mirrors of refraction will constantly appear on the battlefield. Any projectile you fire at these will split into a nova, and they can chain from one to the other. So, that's the Fate of the Vaal League. But we are also bringing the previous league, Rise of the Abyssal, into the core game, along with a few changes. Now, for those of you who haven't seen what happens when a league is over, it's important to understand that you will not be seeing abysses in every area anymore.
É uma
Rise
chance
of the
pra cada
Abyssal
uma
is
das
now
coisas.
one of the League mechanics that can show up randomly in in-game.
Tá certo.
If you want to specialize in running abysses, there is now a tablet that will allow you to add them to any map you
E
run.
provavelmente alguma árvore
You can also
dos
craft
mapas.
the tablet to add abyss-specific mods to enhance how they function. Now that Abyss is core, it also needs its own Atlas tree. You can gain your first points by completing an Abyss. But there are more available for doing depths and killing certain bosses. And there are a bunch of different options. You might just want more monsters and bosses. But you can also make finishing an Abyss have a chance to overrun a nearby map with the Abyssal. Or make your Waystone modifiers also apply to Abyssal depths.
São bons os
You could
as
specialize in
coisas.
the interaction with other leagues.
Inclusive,
or
falando pra poder ter chance de
specialize
entrar
in a
no mapa,
specific
no
Abyssal
próximo mapa,
faction.
ia ser bacana, porque dá pra vocês
One of the
ficar de
important
pro outro
elements
seguido.
that we have heard loud and clear is that needing to do Abyss crafting on Waystones is quite annoying.
É.
So, we have removed that. In fact, we have removed instilling from Waystones as well. This mechanic felt mandatory on maps because it boosted the value of all other content, but it was both annoying to do and resulted in a lot of visual clutter.
Eles vão tirar a fumaça do
Instead,
Delirium,
we are
provavelmente.
bringing back some of that
A
power
névoa.
on tablets,
Eu não sei,
which you
eu
don't need to craft nearly as often, since they last for 10 maps each. Once you defeat the Arbiter of Ash, you will be able to upgrade tablets to a rare with 4 mods using regular currency.
Tá legal.
Even this isn't enough to fully bring back the power you could have gotten from instilling, so we have also buffed the bonuses that tablets give. Going forward, we're not going to be adding any more crafting directly to Waystones outside of the basic currency.
Ainda bem, eu
because
não
it
gosto
adds
de ficar
too much
usando coisa
micromanagement.
extra além das currencies que você consegue
But
dentro
on
do
that
jogo pra
note,
fazer isso daí.
Fate of the Val does
Eu não
bring
gostava
the
nem no-
ability to corrupt your tablets,
Ah, corromper tudo
hoping
bem.
to get one of many different random outcomes.
Não
Now,
sabe nem
with
isso.
regard to Delirium Fog, even though you shouldn't have to have it on every map anymore, we still did want to make it less visually annoying.
É.
Delirium Fog has been toned down significantly, so you won't feel like you're just playing in a sea of grey.
É, ainda bem. Isso sempre foi um problema,
Another
desde
big
que
source of
lançaram
problems in the
isso daí.
endgame is the feeling of getting overwhelmed with monsters. In 031, we reduced the number of monsters in early endgame in order to help with this, but still scaled up the number of monsters to previous levels by the time you got to tier 15. Well, after letting this simmer for a while, we are still getting this kind of feedback. So we are no longer going to scale up the number of monsters you go as you get deeper into the endgame. Instead, we are scaling up the difficulty and rewards by the same amount. So to be clear, instead of increasing the number of monsters by 40%, they will instead drop 40% more items, grant 40% more experience, and have 40% more life.
É.
In addition to all the
E o
normal
dano
scaling
deles
they
é
get due
40%
to being
maior
higher
também?
level. This only applies to regular monsters, not bosses. We have also reduced the speed modifiers that monsters can get sometimes,
Isso é bom, isso
which
é bom.
also helps a lot with this.
Muito.
Now, we did have a large amount of content for endgame planned for 040, but unfortunately we just didn't get time to finish it.
Pô, tem bastante
The
coisa já.
scope was a bit too large, and so we would need to wait until 050 for that. But rest assured, there will be a ton of upgrades for the existing leagues, as well as new pinnacle bosses, and a significant overhaul to the Atlas passive tree coming soon. Now, another problem that becomes a much bigger issue in the endgame is game performance. And we have done a lot of work here. The primary issue is CPU load. And to address that, a lot of things have been optimized.
Path of
And
Exile
we
é
have
o
done a
único
lot of
jogo
work to
que
take
trava no
advantage
OBS
of
quando
more
mexe.
of your CPU cores. You should see frame rates of at least 25% higher,
Vamos torcer.
and a lot less bad frame spikes during gameplay.
Vamos torcer.
It does make quite a big difference, especially on consoles. A lot more work in this area is ongoing, and you will continue to see performance improvements over the next few months. Of course, another important area is game balance, and we have made a lot of changes.
Digam tchau pros
Now,
arcos.
most of these we will save for the patch notes, but I'll do a quick summary of some of the numbers.
Adeus, arcos.
As well as adding 11 new unique items, we have rebalanced dozens of others that are not currently used very often. We've also done a pass over lineage supports. 21 of them have been rebalanced, as well as adding 9 more. Alongside the 2 new Druid ascendancies, we have made balance changes to almost all the others, with some of them getting a grander rebalance, such as the Smith of Katava.
Que tinha tomado uma nerfada legal, né?
Alongside the 20 plus new Druid skills, we've also rebalanced 90 other active skills across all the different classes. And to top it all off, there are also over 250 new passive skills added to the passive tree.
Legal.
These changes should go a long way to increase the viability of many more skills, uniques, and overall build variety that can tackle our most challenging
Variedade de
content.
build nunca vai ser tão grande quanto o PoE1.
Next up, we're
Que
going to
não
be
tenha
talking
lobo
about
um
our
cachorro,
new
que não tenha
supporter
lobo um
packs.
cachorro, eu vou ter que comprar essa porcaria.
Today, we're launching 2
Tudo bem,
new
tem
series of
uma
supporter packs.
bicho ali.
The Precursor and Calguran packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not
Eu gostei
affect your
desse
character's
martelo, hein?
power or progression in any way. The Precursor series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. First up, the Marble Statue Character Effect. Once you finally stay still for a moment, a podium rises up out of the ground to immortalize you, turning your skin to marble. When you next move, the stone crumbles around you. The Precursors had mastery over gravity manipulation. So too can you, now with the Gravity Well portal. Witness the power of its pull as you approach it.
Eu não gosto muito de portal desse jeito. Eu acho que nem
Draw
parece um
in
portal.
enemies with your
Mas...
own gravitational pull with the awakened
A armadura
Precursor
é bacana.
armor set.
Esse negócio no peito do
The
personagem é legal.
Precursors designed and built many mysterious ancient beings. This one used to serve as a scout that would patrol and tase intruders. Why salvage gear yourself when the master of the forge can do it for you? Molten gold spills out as the forge master breaks down your items.
Bacana.
The relic of the Precursor's map device is a mysterious machine
Isso é bem
that
legal.
sits atop ancient colossal statues. It keeps track of the number of charges consumed on your Precursor tablets used in the device. The Calguran Pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. The Calgurans had astounding skill in astronomy, being able to track cosmic events with absolute precision. Harnessing that skill, with the astronomer's level up effect equipped, you too can now see exactly how long it took you to level up as it outputs the time in chat.
Ah, isso é bacana. Isso
The
é bem
time
legal.
taken to reach your last 3 levels is also displayed on the item, so you can link it when you have a time you're proud
Pra
of.
eu que gosto de ficar fazendo essas coisas.
Crush unique enemies by unleashing the wrath of the lost Calguran fleet, led formerly by Captain Heartland himself.
Também
A
bacaninha.
Calguran seafarer
Ah,
needs
eu-
armor fit for the treacherous seas
Eu
of
gostei da
Rayquaza.
armadura. Eu achei legal.
This set has you covered with the classic tricorn and, of course, a peg leg. The Lost Treasure weapon skins top off your appearance of a true raider of the seas. These gilded weapons can be applied
Esse
to wands,
martelo é muito legal.
two-hand maces, and shields.
Bonito
After a
também.
long day of plundering loot, retreat to the Kraken's Cove
Meu
hideout,
Deus, pessoal. É
a
freehold.
home of some of the most deadly ocean-dwelling creatures in Rayclast. Many ships have met their demise here. What better to accompany you in Kraken's Cove than a Kraken itself? Replace your stash with a dormant Kraken, waiting for its
Meu
prey.
Deus, é uma Octusi.
As you approach, it will awaken and terrify both you and any guests in your hideout.
Esse não vai ser
Alongside
meu.
this, an extra stash skin item will be granted to you, and when placed, will automatically open to any stash tab set with the currency affinity, to help having to navigate through your tabs.
Grande demais.
Additionally, any
Isso é legal pra
microtransactions
caramba.
from the supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 1.
Ah, eu ia falar, pô, eles estão colocando Blade... o negócio
Thank
lá,
you
Vortex.
very much for all your ongoing support. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D.
É, tô tranquilo do que
Afterwards, at 11 AM NZ time, we'll post the patch
Patch
notes.
notes, tudo bem.
With release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for the release. Keep an eye on the news. Thanks for joining us today and checking out our latest developments. we're looking forward to playing alongside our fellow shapeshifting exiles, all while uncovering Lost Val secrets by doing some dungeon crafting. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get your questions ready.
Beleza. O que nós achamos? Eu gostei muito do druida. Eu fiquei um pouco decepcionado que tá atrelado a um sistema de carga, a invocação dos pets lá, porque quando eu vi que ia ter pet, eu achei, pô, vai dar pra invocar coisa que não seja undead, não seja esqueleto. Mas pelo visto tá atrelado com alguma carga que você pega, que você dá um proc no mob, sei lá. Mesmo assim, eu acho que dá pra poder deixar ele tempo suficiente pra não ser um problema. Eu tô animadão. Bem animado. E principalmente, uma das coisas, né, que eles falaram foi o lance da performance deles terem melhorado. Eu tava falando agora há pouco, OBS só trava com Path of Exile aqui. E tipo, trava pra caramba quando eu tô jogando. Você vê que a CPU tá chorando mexendo nisso daqui. Não tem nenhum outro jogo que fica desse jeito. Vamos torcer pra tá melhor isso daí também. Mas eu fiquei animadão. Bem animado. Eu gostei bastante disso daqui. O fato do druida ter uma ascendência também que chama Xamã é pra marcar o que eu já falei várias vezes. O druida, geralmente em Diablo, agora no Path of Exile, é uma mistura de druida com Xamã mesmo nos outros jogos. Gostei pra caramba. Achei muito bom, tô super empolgado pra semana que vem. Só uma coisa aqui. E você, o que achou, Dália? Pouca coisa? Eles falaram que tava meio limitado. Principalmente o endgame não vai mudar muita coisa, não. A minha diversão vai ser o teste com o druida. Agora, falar de coisa que tem nova pra fazer é incursion, né? Basicamente, que eles colocaram lá. Tipo, é a alva de novo fazendo as coisas. Então... não, é mais limitado. É mais limitado. Faz sentido, né? Com o negócio da alva faz sentido. Mas que com certeza foi mais limitado do que o nível de coisa que teve na última liga. Isso foi. Mas eu não imaginava que ia ser tão diferente, não. A única coisa que eu ainda tô sentindo falta é o tempo que eles estão demorando pra poder adicionar espada e machado dentro do jogo. Eu sei que eles vão em algum momento fazer isso daí, obviamente, mas... Eu sei lá. E uma outra coisa que eu também não entendi muito por que eles não fizeram. Eles colocaram 2 ascendências pro druida. Uma delas eu não senti muito que tinha a ver com o druida, porque eu tava crente de que uma das ascendências iam ser baseadas em shapeshift. Eu tinha certeza que ia ter uma elemental, que foi o que apareceu com o xamã, mas eu tinha certeza de que ia ser alguma coisa com shapeshift, e não teve. E minha curiosidade agora tá também qual que é a duração daquele voo que o Wyvern faz, cuspindo fogo. Aquilo ali foi legal pra caramba. But then when we actually put it on alpha, there was the kind of visceral reaction of I want to still be a bear, like, you know, while I'm hopping around. So we ended up having to like work out like how can we make this possible? How can we make it so that então parece que sim, parece que é mais focado em itemização. Enfim, tipo, vai ser bacana. Eu vou é difícil de falar agora porque falta um tempo ainda para poder ter mais informação tudo, mas é bem provável que eu acabe testando como é que fala? A parte dos pets, dos lobos lá. Tentar focar completamente nisso daí. Mas depende, né? Vai ter como equipar eles por fora. Tipo, uma vez que você tiver essa habilidade aí, vai ter uma aba pra colocar suporte nos lobos. Porque se não tiver, o negócio fica mais estranho. E como sempre, né? Eles estão forçando vários e vários combos. Você coloca a planta no chão... Você vai chuva cair em cima dela, aí você se transforma em Wyvern e aí você usa uma habilidade que solta a eletricidade enquanto os mobs estão mais presos. Você fala, tudo bem, na teoria isso daí funciona, na prática eu tenho dúvidas se os mobs vão ficar parados o tempo suficiente pra você fazer isso, se vale a pena. Porque Path of Exile 2 sofre muito disso daí, daquelas coisas onde você tem uma habilidade que precisa de vários e vários passos pra chegar no combo no final dela, e aí você percebe, pô, mas isso aqui não valeu a pena. Porque você tem que dividir o tempo todo que você faz isso daí pelo DPS que você dá no último ataque. Aí você fala, talvez fosse melhor só estar atirando com arco. Lembrando que arco provavelmente vai ser nerfado nessa daqui, mas... Eu gostei, eu achei bom. Eu não achei ruim, não. E aí, Thiago, a mecânica foi o Incursion do Path of Exile 1. De que você constrói o mapa dos Val e depois vai e faz o mapa no passado. É isso aí. Triste pelo druida, só uma cópia mal feita do D4. Aí nós discordamos. Engraçado, eu já falei pra vocês uma vez, esse cara uma vez comentou num vídeo meu, o Ziggy. Há muito tempo atrás. Mas eu fiquei animado. Já estava animado antes, continuo animado agora. Milton, novas ascensões eles não falaram nada, então eu imagino que não vai ter. Agora eles falaram que eles vão alterar várias ascendências que já tinham antes. Bufando algumas coisas que precisava, tudo. E vai ter as habilidades novas, vocês falaram que já ter 30 suporte diferente novo. Eu vi algumas coisas lá que parece que vai ter como usar nas outras classes, sim. Alguma orb nova? Felizmente não. Pelo menos não que eles tenham mostrado. Felizmente tem uma orb nova. Eu não aguento mais.
So, like, it was really tricky to think, like, what are the resources that a bear can generate? What are the resources that a wolf can generate? What are the ones that the wife can generate that the other ones can then use in order to kind of get...
Mas tá legal. Eu vou precisar, por incrível que pareça, sair já disso daqui. Se considerados incursion, sim, que dá pra você vender, mas nada que vai ser drop normal dos mobs. Porque, cara, tem currency demais esse jogo já. Eu acho que as opções de craft que nós temos no Path of Exile 2 já são suficientes. Pra mim, o principal é isso. Eu gostei, eu achei que eu não ia gostar, mas eu gostei dos níveis, dos tiers que tem de algumas orbes lá, mas eu acho que já tem o suficiente de craft. Se eles quiserem colocar outros mecanismos, por exemplo, a mesa de corromper coisa, que seja fora da parte de currency, eu acho que dá pra poder fazer. Agora, a orb nova caindo dos mobs, tudo, eu não quero que fique a quantidade de coisa que tem, por exemplo, no 1. Porque quando você tem a opção de mais de craft, drop de coisa é meio que irrelevante. Você só quer a base pra poder ficar fazendo craft em cima delas. E eu também jogo no self-found. Eu prefiro, ainda assim, ter a chance de encontrar algum item que já começa mais ou menos ok, pra depois fazer o craft por cima. Mas vamos ver. Talvez eles anunciem coisa mais pra frente aí nessa próxima semana, até o lançamento. Uma semaninha só. Mas tô animado. Inclusive, pro lance da performance. Performance eu fiquei feliz. Mas eu vou ficar por aqui mesmo. Eu gostaria de ter feito maior essa live aqui, mas primeiro, não era nem pra eu ter ficado aqui, eu só parei pra poder mexer nisso. E eu já preciso sair pra poder resolver algumas coisas. E outra, eu acho que vai começar a chover já. Mas a gente vai conversando. Beleza? Espero que tenham gostado do anúncio do Path of Exile. Eu gostei pra caramba, estou animado. Eu imagino que esse anúncio vai pro canal... Eu não sei se mais tarde ou amanhã de manhã. Vai depender de quanto tempo demora aqui. Mas a gente vai conversando. Show! É isso aí. Pessoal, bom descanso pra vocês. Amanhã de manhã estamos aí. Eu pretendo amanhã de manhã começar a fazer o lance do speedrun lá no WoW. Apareçam. Quem sabe? Quem sabe? É isso aí, pessoal. A gente se vê amanhã de manhã. Amanhã de manhã eu tô por aí. Até mais, turma. Bom descanso aí pra vocês. Até mais.